You had no problem being drunk on camera. Why are you having such a hard time getting sober on camera? It's because of the accountability. And if you want to stay sober, you got to do this. I swore I would never do cocaine again after having kids. I was blackout drunk during some of those scenes we were filming. And when I had to watch them back, it was awful because I didn't know how I acted when I was drunk. One of the things I worried about most when I first got sober was, how am I ever going to have fun again? My life is over.
Totally. I think that's the fear of, in some way, the fear of every person getting sober. I can remember thinking, how will I ever get married? How will you have a wedding without alcohol? How will I be funny? That was one of my biggest fears because I couldn't imagine. Part of my personality was getting wild and getting loose. Welcome to Cake for Dinner, where we talk all things motherhood. We traveled all the way to Nashville, Tennessee to interview our next guest. Braunwyn Spinner was a Real Housewives of Orange County. This is a podcast about motherhood, and if you know anything about motherhood, it can be tough. She has 7 kids, so she definitely qualifies. If you know Bravo, you know Braunwyn. We talked all things motherhood. We talked about her sexuality, about her coming out on national TV, getting sober on national TV. There is so much to unpack here. You guys are gonna love it. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I'm excited to be in Nashville.
I know. I can't believe you flew all the way up here.
I did. Took the show on the road.
I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. You have 7 kids, and this really is a mother podcast, so you definitely qualify.
Okay.
But I thought we would just jump right in. Well, first I wanted to say, as a viewer of The Real Housewives of Orange County, I am shamelessly a viewer of Bravo. I think it's easy to get caught up in this idea that like these people aren't people because you get kind of like into watching the themes or sort of their character. And when you and I agreed to talk, we had a phone call and you got on and started by saying, hey, I have to be kind of quick because I'm in car line and my kids are about to jump in. And I literally was like, oh, she's just a regular mom.
Right. And that was my time to myself to get phone calls done.
Right. And that sounds silly probably, but I think in general, fame, you know, people viewing this stuff, it's like you lose sight of the fact these are people with real lives, real children, real marriages. And you got sober on national television.
I was 14 days sober when we started filming.
Unbelievable. I myself am 23 years sober. And when I got sober, it was literally like me, my parents knew, and a few friends. And I found that extremely tough. So I can't even imagine doing it on that scale for the whole world to see. So please tell me what that was like.
I didn't even think it through. I mean, that's the truth. I had a meeting the first day I was sober. I've been sober for 1 day. And I had a meeting with the producers, you know, what's going on in your life right now. And I casually mentioned that I was going on a cleanse, you know, I wasn't going to drink anymore. I was making healthier choices. That's how I framed it.
Got it.
And, you know, that meeting ended and I went out of town and I was having a really hard time. So I was detoxing. I was about 3 days sober. I didn't go to a treatment facility, which now I know was very dangerous. I should never have done that. And I wasn't doing okay. So I called Captain Sandy. So if you watch Below Deck, she's on that.
Yes.
Because I knew from the show that she had been sober for 33 years. And I had been friendly with her now wife. So I had her wife's phone number. And I said, I need to talk to Captain Sandy. I'm not doing okay. And Sandy got on the phone and she said a few things during that conversation. But the one thing that stood out, the one aha moment, was she said, you had no problem being drunk on camera. Why are you having such a hard time getting sober on camera? And she said, it's because of the accountability. And if you want to stay sober, you got to do this. And I hung up the phone with her.
I have goosebumps.
I didn't think. I just made the phone call to my producer. The truth is I'm an alcoholic and I need to be sober. And that kind of set everything.
How was that received?
Really well. That was Thomas. He was a very kind producer, and he cared about us as people. So I think he had seen my behavior on the show, and I think he was like, yeah, I know.
It's an interesting point because as a sober woman, I used to feel, I don't know, a little bit inadequate or just weird, like especially in the school, when my kids were younger and they'd have a school events or whatever. And as I've gotten older and been sober longer, I've thought like, why on earth would I feel odd abstaining from something that's like bad for me rather than the other people who are like just drunk and doing wild shit. It's like when you really like zoom out, it's kind of a wild thing to feel weird about.
It is, isn't it?
But people drink and it's so normalized and it's so everywhere.
It's a part of our culture. It's how we celebrate. It's how we deal with loss. I mean, any occasion in our life is cake and alcohol mainly. Yeah. And
now we're left with cake.
I know. No, I love cake. But it's not just reframing it in our own lives, but also being out there for other people too, that you can reframe it in other people's lives.
So what happened that made you want to get sober, or not made you want to? What kind of head did it come to?
I swore I would never do cocaine again after having kids. And I was on a Miami weekend, this 3-day birthday party, and I did. And I was drinking like every 15 minutes at that point. I'd embarrassed myself very badly about 3 days before in front of some moms. And that's when I knew I had to get sober. But I didn't have like a win date. That trip to Miami, in the middle of the night, I woke up and said, this is it. I'm done. And I kind of had a voice in my head that said, go, my now ex-husband, go tell Sean that you need help. And so I walked into the room and I said, I can't stop drinking. I need help. And he literally sat on me because I was physically shaking and kept me from drinking until I could get home.
And had you tried to quit before?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
I've gotten sober 3 times. The first time lasted about 9 months. The second time lasted 7 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And this is the 3rd time, and it'll be 6 years in January.
Okay. Do you think that the show helped you stay sober based on that accountability? Because 100%. I feel like once you've announced it. 100%.
Yeah. And a lot of times people ask me, would you do the show again? Or, those kind of questions. Yes. If it hadn't been for the accountability of the fans and everyone watching that show and the DMs I was getting, I don't think I would have stayed sober.
Yeah. And also like, as a sober person myself, like I can remember just the mornings where you wake up and you're just horrified by what you've done or you've said or whatever. And at that time, I could just sort of hide for a few days, hope to God nobody remembered, avoid. But for you, it was on TV. There's no avoiding it.
I was blackout drunk during some of those films that we were filming, some of those scenes we were filming. And when I had to watch them back, it was awful because
I can't imagine.
I didn't know how I acted when I was drunk. And I had a weaning party and I had to watch behavior and I was mortified.
And there's no denying it then.
No.
Right.
And I was literally blackout drunk and now I'm having to watch this and just going like, wow, my behaviors. And I knew I had a problem.
Sure.
My 7-year sobriety ended when I got the show. That's when I started drinking again. And I thought I could control it. And I think it was very obvious to anyone watching I was not controlling it very well. But that was hard. And it was hard because that was who I was.
Right. And it's also hard for, I think, to show, I was a pharmaceutical rep, not quite the same as a reality star, but showing up in that space was hard because they knew me as somebody who was wild and fun, and we would go to work conventions and I would be wild. Right. And then all of a sudden I wasn't. And it takes a while to like get comfortable in that, in yourself and who you are and to like figure that out. So I've always been in awe of anyone who gets sober in front of so many people. When I got sober, it wasn't as trendy or cool or prevalent. I remember my mom sent me, or she like cut something out of People magazine. Ben Affleck had gotten sober and she was so excited to tell me that someone else, and it actually mattered to me. Like I thought, okay, if this guy can figure out like how to have fun, maybe I can too, And
that's why it's so important that we share these stories.
Yes.
And we show how, we are living our lives and we're having a great time because one of the things I worried about most when I first got sober was, how am I ever going to have fun again? My life is over.
Totally. I think that's the fear of, in some way, the fear of every person getting sober. I can remember thinking, how will I ever get married? Like, how will you have a wedding without alcohol? Like, how will I be funny? That was one of my biggest fears because I couldn't imagine. Part of my personality was getting wild and getting loose, you know?
Same.
Too loose.
Same.
Too loose. But I think, I think that's a common fear. And so I'm a big believer in showing that as much as possible to help other people, you know? So you also got divorced.
I did.
And from the outside looking in, just as a viewer and a sober woman, it looked very much like a alcoholic and enabling type dynamic. Is that how it was, or is that just how it looked?
That's how it was. And I don't even think I understood the enormity of it when I was going through it. I've been in therapy dealing with all of this stuff, but I mean, there was one time I was literally on my closet floor drinking for a week. I don't even know how I went to the bathroom because I didn't get off the closet floor. And, my ex-husband was bringing me the drinks. Eventually, I had a friend that intervened, came over and said, none of this is okay. And she took me to the hospital. And that was the first time I got sober. But that was always sort of the environment I was in. He would do whatever it was to keep me happy. When I tried to get sober, he would support me, but he said, but if you have one drink, it's not the end of the world. And so.
And that's not great for us.
That's not. And he also cleaned up my messes.
Yeah, you can see that as a viewer. You can honestly see that.
And that was a big part of our relationship was making sure that I got home okay, making sure that if I embarrassed myself, he would take care of it. Making sure that the kids were okay. I mean, there was a lot of aspects of my life that I didn't have to deal with.
Sure.
Because he just took over. So.
Was the 7-year sober span a part of having all those babies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd gotten sober and then I had just gotten pregnant. And I had said something on the show that a lot of people gave me backlash for, which was in some way, I think I'm having babies to stay sober.
I was going to ask that, but then my mind just went to like, is that offensive? But that makes total sense to me.
And when I said that, I was about 3 weeks sober. So you understand my mindset at that time. Anything I'm saying or doing makes no sense and I'm basically insane. Not even basically. I think they've done
But also, it's not even a negative thing either because babies are amazing and wonderful and being pregnant but it's also, I think in early sobriety, you're also trying to fill that spot.
And that's what I meant. I didn't mean like, I want to drink instead of have a baby.
Right.
It's that God-sized hole inside of us that if you're not an addict, maybe you don't understand this, but we fill it with things.
Right.
And so it wasn't like, I'm going to have babies to stay sober. It was, I'm going to have babies to fill that void.
Yeah.
And I think I probably could have said it more eloquently at the time, but like I said, I was.
Yeah, I think most sober people would understand that.
Yeah.
So you had how many years apart are the kids?
There was never, with the younger 4, there was never a period for that 7 years that I wasn't pregnant or nursing because I never drank when I was nursing either.
Did you plan to have 7 kids or did you plan to have a lot of kids?
I wanted 5.
Got it.
That was my first date with my ex-husband. First date, I want to be a stay-at-home mom and I want to have 5 kids.
And he was in. And you just overshot the mark.
And then I'm an overachiever. So and I'm an addict.
So you just went for it.
So 5's good, 7's better.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I really get it. So then what happened with the marriage? Then because you would wonder, you are now married to a woman.
Right.
Correct. So did you have any experiences when you were younger that lended itself to that?
Yes.
Or was that being suppressed with your alcoholism? Like, how did that all play in?
I think it's all sort of under the same umbrella,
right,
of me not living my authentic life.
Self. Yeah.
And these things that I'm hiding or make me uncomfortable.
Which alcohol supported.
Right. So it's all under that, my sexuality, all of that. But I knew that I was attracted to women my whole life.
Okay.
I mean, from the time I was a little girl, my Barbies were making out. But I grew up in the 80s and there wasn't the white picket fence with 2 women. That wasn't a reality for me at the time. And I knew I wanted to be a mom more than anything. So I never really thought about my sexuality. I'm going to marry a man and I'm going to have children. Sean and I met when I was 18, so I was very young.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so most of my sexual experiences were with him. Mm-hmm. So this wasn't something I hid from him. He always knew that. The difference when I got sober this last time was there was a pandemic.
Yep.
So I couldn't plan a party or go shopping. Mm-hmm. I'm stuck at home. There's nothing to do. There's no outside things. I'm working on my steps. I'm doing virtual meetings. Mm-hmm. But for the first time in my life, there wasn't a fix. Mm-hmm. All of my go-tos.
Couldn't have any more kids.
I couldn't have any more kids.
Right.
But all of my go-tos were gone. My social life, my friends, things like that. Travel was a big thing that I would use to fill the void. Mm-hmm. So it was just me and me. Mm-hmm. And then I picked up Glennon Doyle's Untamed.
Oh, shit.
I had no idea what the book was about. Not a clue. Someone just said I should read it, and it just
Have you ever met her and told her that?
We actually got to do Watch What Happens Live together.
Oh, my gosh.
I petitioned
That's
for
amazing.
her relentlessly. And I have one of the chapters from her books tattooed.
I'm actually hoping to meet her. I saw her, like, in the very beginning. She would hold these little meetings in like churches. Aww. And I went with a few of my girlfriends and we saw her talk, and I'm pretty sure it was before her book even. Okay. And maybe she was writing a book. I don't know. It was in the very beginning. And she said, if you're ever jealous of someone, it means that you know deep inside that you should be doing that. And I remember thinking, holy shit, because I was so jealous, because I have always wanted to be an author, a speaker, like to really, but I've always been such a mess, like as an alcoholic and then like a single mom, and like it didn't feel like I had much to speak about. Right. And listening to her talk about her mess and so wisely, I remember I was so jealous, and I literally felt like she was literally talking directly to me. Yeah. So one day I hope to tell her that, but that's amazing.
Yeah. And have you read Untamed?
Yes.
So it's basically about a recovering alcoholic that falls in love with a woman. And as I'm reading this, I literally sat up in bed and looked around. I'm like, this is me. She's talking about me.
That's wild. Did you read her first book?
I didn't.
You should go back and read it.
I never read her first book. I read the most recent one.
She's married to a guy in the first book.
Right.
I mean, it's literally it's
our story.
Yeah, that's wild.
So it kind of gave me this aha moment. And then I went and talked to my sponsor, and I'm telling her all of this. Mm-hmm. And she literally looked at me and said, sweetie, I think you're gay. And I'm like, oh, wait, I don't know about that. But I was talking to my best friend at the time, and unbeknownst to me, she had started like a fake Tinder profile, mm-hmm. and she'd been like pre-dating people. And she's like, well, now you're going on a date with one. And I'm kind of glad she gave me that courage to do that. But that first kiss with a woman sober.
Wow.
Was magical. I mean, it was transformative. And from that point on, I'm like, this is how I have to live my life.
And so at what point did you tell Sean? I feel like, don't you think he knew?
I think he knew for a long time.
Yeah.
I think he always knew. And we'd had conversations about it. It's not like this came out of nowhere. And there would be times in my life where I'd want to explore it more, not just having like a crazy night. Right. But like I wanted to explore a relationship. And we had talked about it, but it never really led anywhere. Yeah. Because we had so many kids and so much, mm-hmm. so many things going on that it was easy to put on the back burner. But I think I probably told him about that right after.
Okay.
I tended not to keep things from him. But I don't think he thought that it was going to be enough for us to actually get divorced and right. separated for much longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, the whole COVID thing makes so much sense to me. And I think to so many people, I would imagine listening, that you in that moment faced off with yourself. Yeah. Because I think it doesn't have to be alcohol, but people are running into a lot of different things, and it could be shopping, like you said, so many different things. But when you sit with yourself, it's hard to ignore the truth.
Yeah. I mean, party planning, crafting. We all have things that we use.
Yep.
Social media.
Yeah.
We all have things that we're to fill that void. And, when you kind of don't have those crutches, it's just you. It's interesting what you can find out.
How did your kids receive all of it? Sobriety, your sexuality.
They were great with. The little kids didn't know as much.
Okay.
And the big kids had seen me sober for most of their lives, and they were super happy, and they know my dad died from this, so they were very happy. I'm very open with the kids about, that I'm an alcoholic. They all know why mommy doesn't drink. They all know that it runs in our family.
Okay.
So I've been very open with all of them.
How much did they experience of you drinking?
The younger ones, not much. Okay. So only that last year. I was drinking for about a year, so they saw that. Luckily or unluckily with the show, I wasn't around much.
Right. Okay.
I don't think people realize how much it does take you away from your family. Even though it doesn't seem like you're doing all these things, most of what you film gets cut. So you're away from your family a lot.
Like how much? What does that look like?
I mean, during the 4 months that you're filming, like almost all the time.
Wow.
And then it kind of consumes your life in ways that you don't expect after that 4 months with all the social media and all the putting out of fires and all these other things. It takes up a pretty good chunk of your life.
Did you make real friends on the show?
I did.
Anybody you're still in touch with?
Yeah. Tamara's really an amazing human. I know she gets a hard time.
She gets a real hard time.
She gets a really hard time. She has been by my side for some of the hardest moments I've been through, where I was literally shaking so bad I couldn't drive and she had to drive me home. We're dealing with the health crisis in my family. She always checks in. She always checks in with my parents.
Oh, wow.
I want to fight people online when they're saying mean things about her because I'm like, you guys don't know her. She's actually a really, really great human.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully people will hear this. And would you do reality TV?
Yeah.
Again?
In a heartbeat. But I
feel like your wife would be a hit.
Oh my God, everyone would love her.
Yes.
And they would love the dynamic of the two of us. I would love to do something impactful though. You know how they have shows like that help you get sober or things like that. I would love to do something in this world.
Being authentic is impactful, you know? So just being yourself, because I think one of the things about these reality shows is you sort of have a character, right? Like Tamara's a great example. She's like a villain. So you would never guess that she's super sweet and kind. I mean, there are certain moments where you do see that. Yeah. It shines through whether they want it to or not, you know? But I think that's part of kind of what I'm trying to do, because I wrote a parenting book and I'm, in order to sell the book, you have to have a platform. It's just this whole big thing. Okay. And I thought if I'm going to be on social media, I want to contribute in a positive way. Yes. Like I don't want people at home, seeing my post and thinking anything other than I'm real, right? Because people just put forth this like weird perfection thing. Yeah. And I didn't want to participate in that. So I thought, how could I do this like authentically and also have some fun?
Sort of embrace the chaos that we know we all have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're all hanging on by a fucking thread here. You know what I mean? And so I think the more we lead with that, especially the younger moms coming up, they get to enjoy that.
I can't even imagine. I had my babies before Instagram. I can't imagine trying to live up to some of those ideals of motherhood when I was in the trenches.
I mean, it's no joke. I mean, it
is hard.
I have twins. They're 18. So, I didn't have as much of that at that time, but I have an 11-year-old now. And I kind of like the gap because we're getting ready to send him to this little private school. And I was saying to my husband, what a treat it's going to be to go back to that car line, not giving one shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
so
when I was younger, I felt inadequate in that space. Probably a lot of my alcoholism played into that and years of not fitting, and then you get in these like weird little environments and all that kind of like,
the dynamics
taps on your shoulder.
Elementary schools is intense.
It's so intense. It is so intense.
If you don't know this is a true fact.
I literally, in my first chapter, it's a parenting book, I wrote about the car line. And my husband was like, are you sure? Like, this is a thing? And I'm like, this is a thing. This is a full thing. Every mom on the planet knows this is a thing. And if you don't, it's not the book for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm excited to go back into that space as a 51-year-old mom who doesn't care. But
it's so good.
It is hard when you're 35.
And you want everyone to like you and you want to fit in.
Yeah, you're striving. You're still trying to like get somewhere, you know? So I want to, that's what this podcast is. It's about moms, like real moms doing real shit, living a real life with real kids, you know?
It's so fun getting to the age that we're at now where it's like,
it is.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
My life is a disaster.
Yeah.
But I'm happy.
Yeah, because there's so much to it. There's tough stuff like, you know, my parents are aging.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on the plane. That's tough, you know? But And kids moving out can be like hard and sad. Yeah. But also I've been hanging out with my 18-year-old daughter lately and she's so cool.
Isn't it nice when they become cool people?
I mean, we ripped down the road listening to like Fleetwood Mac and I'm like, she is the coolest person I've ever met. And she was the absolute hardest teenager anyone's ever raised.
That's like
convinced.
My second daughter. Hardest teenager, coolest young woman.
You know what? I took her to this is terrible, but I took her to a therapist when she was like literally like 4, I think 5 maybe. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with her? I mean, she was so difficult. And the lady was like, I've got good news and bad news. The bad news is she is going to be hell on wheels. Like she's going to be really hard to parent. But the good news is she's never going to be talked into anything. She's never going to be peer pressured. And I was like, holy shit, it is so true. She is so her own person.
I love that.
Like she refused to conform. And forever I'm grateful because it forced me to look at myself. Like, why do we want these kids to conform anyway? It's like so stupid and unattractive. But it's scary to watch them navigate this world that we're in, you know, without conforming.
I know. None of my kids are really conforming. They're all in their own worlds, but it can be hard at times.
So what ages are they?
25, 23, 20, 11, 11, 10, 7.
Oh, so you have twins also.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Boy, girl, or?
Boys, 2 boys.
Oh, wow. And how has the blended family thing gone?
They love Jen. Jen is their favorite parent out of the 4 of us. They think she's so fun because she is. She's young and fun and cool.
Yeah.
So that's been really great. They love her. They confide in her all the time. She loves to do one-on-one trips. That's been really easy. They love their stepmom on the other side.
So he remarried?
Well, they're not remarried, but they live together.
Got it. Okay.
She's very kind. So that's great. The dynamic between me and their father is not great. And so
what does that look like?
It's not great. It's just very mean. He's still very mean to me. Mm-hmm. And
like
rude.
Like hurt, and then that comes out as mean?
Just very controlling, very petty, just doing little things just to make life harder.
Yeah. I wonder sometimes how that dynamic goes because when there's an alcoholic and an enabler, sometimes when the alcoholic doesn't need the person anymore, it creates a lot of anger because the dynamic is so different because that person gets worth and value and purpose from caring for the other person.
I'm sure that's a huge part of it.
So when that person doesn't need you anymore, that can pose a lot of issues.
That is what we're working on. I hope we get to a good place one day.
You see tons of families go through that and takes time.
And then they seem to come together. So I'm hoping that's what happens.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I think if you're open to it, then it comes. I want you to taste this cake.
Okay.
But just so you know, part of my cake for dinner thing is that when I'm sad, my dad bakes me cakes. Aww. I don't happen to be sad today, but I travel with a cake. So my mom made this we brought it to Nashville.
I love that.
So, as you taste this.
And I love cake, by the way.
I love cake too. Listen, when you can't have alcohol, you got to have something.
Someone said, what do I do about the sugar cravings? I'm like, well, I just eat the sugar.
Just eat the sugar. I mean, I have a sugar problem. Okay.
Ooh, we don't eat yet.
So, no, eat, go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
I'll ask you the questions, but you can eat.
Oh, sorry. I've been in the South so long, I thought we were going to pray or something. I was like, oh,
are
my
we
bad.
Gonna cheers? What are we going to Okay. No, we're not going to. We're just going to eat and talk. Okay. So this person says coming out later in life and navigating relationships, public perception had to have been a challenge. What was the hardest part of becoming fully you? And do you have any advice for women who feel stuck hiding parts of themselves?
That's a lot of questions in one.
I think it's mostly, do you have any suggestions for women who are hiding parts of themselves?
I think the hardest part isn't coming out with anyone else but yourself. Once you're able to come out to yourself, everything falls into place. Once you're comfortable in your own skin, once you kind of own that truth, everything falls into place.
I love that.
So if you're in my position, if you're listening to this, the fact that you're asking these questions is probably a sign that maybe you should figure it out. And if you decide to kind of live your life authentically, you will never be sorry. Because the feelings I feel, I didn't know were possible.
That's definitely hope. Okay, last one. You've made big transitions, moving to Nashville, shifting your public persona, changing family dynamics. What have you learned about confidence and self-esteem in your 40s that you wish you had known earlier?
That's kind of what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, just the freedom of
coming into your own. I think what I have realized, and this isn't so much confidence, this is just a knowing that has come with age, is that the universe has a plan for you. And if you just let your ego go and tune in and keep doing the right thing, doors will open and you just got to walk through them. If things are going really hard and things aren't working and you're struggling, maybe it's because you're doing something that's not your true path.
Yes. That makes so much sense. As I've grown, part of it I think is age. I mean, I'm 51 and I have to tell you, it just gets better. Like, I mean, it is the knowing. I like that you said knowing. The knowing just gets even more and more.
Yeah.
Just the fruits of sobriety are just endless, truly endless.
And that's the other thing I wish I would have known if I was younger, is that you can get through anything. Whether it's getting sober, whether it's, leaving a partner, whether it's changing jobs, you can get through anything. Things that seem very hard in the moment, you'll look back on and say, that was bad, but I learned so much from it. Because there's not one bad thing that's happened to me where I didn't come out stronger thinking, I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And that's probably what gives us confidence, is all that life lived.
Yeah, I was going to say that someone said to me recently, like, oh, we should tell all the younger moms. I'm like, you can tell them all you want, but it's a lived experience thing. I mean, you think nobody told us?
They probably
like, don't
did.
worry. I'm sure somebody had the idea. Don't worry.
But I'm sure I have no memory of anyone ever say, I thought it would be perfect and easy and flowers and rainbows.
Yeah, and you have to experience sometimes pain and discomfort to get to the other side. And part of what I love about being sober and having this platform is to use all the stuff I've been through to help other people and being there. Yeah, for sure. Well, anything else you would like to, any wisdom you would like to impart on the listeners?
I just want to say that if you're listening to this because you're a new mom or you're sober or your reality star, any of the reasons, I just want to say that I think the one thing that I have learned over the past few years is that you can get through anything if you're sober. You can get through anything if you believe in yourself. And there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Always light. What are you most proud of?
My kids. And then my sobriety.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for having me in Nashville. And I hope you come to Florida soon.
Yeah, me too.
We'd love to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.